Hi you guys, the book that I will be reviewing today is a book that I came across online while I was searching on YouTube for reviews for a book to read. And I came across a book that was written by an actor that I very much enjoy watching on a television series called Glee. And I'm talking about Chris Colfer and his book, The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell. Um, After finishing this book, I really couldn't help but be surprised that having been written by an author as a debut novel who is essentially an actor, it was so good. I purchased this book because, I was like a very, very, very big fan of Glee during its first seasons and a fan of Chris Colfer as an actor and as an individual as well because of his sexual orientation. Chris Colfer is gay, and as aside from being gay, he's also outspoken about it. He's out of the closet, and I really, really, really love gay men. Being a lesbian myself, so I have to help my people. I have to. I have to. I have to. So I ordered the book, kind of like to help one of my favorite actors that I love so much. And I wasn't really expecting that much of it, to be honest, simply because he's an actor, and an actor who has now gone author. And I usually like I know it's kind of prejudiced, but it is the reality of how life is. Usually we see a singer who then decides to be an actress or an actor, and the fans, of course, they go and help their singer out or their actress out because they love them, and so they go to the movie theaters or they go and buy that CD, and then they know they're gonna get tortured, but they do it anyways because we love them, so we're helping them out, and we just sit there listening or watching those 5 minutes or that 1 hour of torture because it's crap, but we do it anyways because that's what good fans do. So that's what I was expecting with this book. I was like, I'm not just gonna purchase it to help him. No, I'm gonna purchase it because I'm gonna read it as well to help him as well. Boy, was this a slap in the face. This was good. I wasn't I I wasn't expecting it to be good because, like I said, I don't really expect a lot of people that have one career and then they switch to another. I know not everyone is like that, but usually I think that if you have a passion, you should like focus on that in order to give it your all. And I guess it's my opinion, but it's also because that's usually what I see in life. But I I know, and I have to recognize this because this is a perfect example of that. I know that there are people that are very multi talented. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he's one of those people. He's a good actor, and he is a good writer because this book was very good. It is so well written in such a way that it captivates you once you find yourself reading it from start to finish. I read this book in one day and I couldn't put it down. Basically, this book is a story about two twins that fall into this magical world where a lot of the main characters from a lot of the fairy tales that we used to really, really love when we were children, like Cinderella, Goldilocks, Sleeping Beauty, um, Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, they live in this place and they fall into this world, and they're trying to find their way home, kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia or the Wizard of Oz, and they're trying to find their way home. And as they they're on their journey to find their way home, they stumble across a lot of these characters, and it's great because I think it's I don't know about you, but I'm when I finish reading a story that I really, really enjoyed, I kind of start trying to imagine, like I can never stop it there, especially if I really, really love it. Like I try to imagine like what happened afterwards. Did Prince and Princess have children? Did the Prince and the Princess get along forever, happily ever after? Did they argue? Did she get jealous maybe of another princess? I don't know. Like I usually try to imagine what happens afterwards, and I think this is a very good idea. Um, I hope that someday they do that with Harry Potter too. Like what happened afterwards, what happened to the children of the characters. But back to this book. I really, really, really liked it. Really, really, really wasn't expecting this to happen, but I actually cried at one part of the story, and I cried when I was reading and because I was reading about the witch. The witch that I'm talking about in this specific story is the witch from the evil queen from Snow White. He did such a good job at making that character come to life. Like, she was just like, he created a very strong connection. I felt a lot of empathy towards her, and I'm not gonna say I related towards her because I'm not evil, I'm not a witch, but like, I kind of understood finally why she was like that, why she turned into the evil person, the evil witch that she turned into, or why she treated Snow White like that. I love that. I love the way he established that connection between the reader and, well, at least me and that character. I cried. I cried because of that character. And usually when there's a book that is about fairy tales, like, I usually don't cry because the tone of the book is usually very lighthearted, and that's another thing that I liked about so much about this book. It's the tone of it is very lighthearted. It's very happy-go-lucky, but at the same time, he finds a way to like make it deep, especially with that witch. Like, it was deep. I loved it. I loved the psychology of it. I loved it. I really enjoyed reading about her. Of course, I'm going to have to say something that I did not like. I just want to say that this is the second time I'm going to say that because I said that in my last video, but I also want to mention it in this one. Probably a lot of people could feel bad or get offended, like if there's a book that somebody really, really loved and then I might just say like, oh, I didn't like that book. I want you guys to know that when I say that I did not like something about the book, I am in no way, is giving my opinion in a professional way, because I do not have a degree in writing. I have never written a book, and I am not in any way giving a professional opinion. I am giving my opinion as a reader and as a person who enjoys and loves reading books. But my opinion is not in any way, and I do not intend it in any way to sound like it is the end of things and that is the way it is. Like, usually, and it's going to happen in the future, I'm going to say, oh, I did not like this about the book, I did not enjoy reading it, but I still will recommend it because a lot of people have read it and have loved it. So I'm going to say, oh, here, get it and read it. Also, there are going to be books that I'm going to give them 5 stars simply because I think that the book was very good. I want to clarify a little bit about that too, so you can understand a little bit of how I evaluate what I read. Like, for me, a book that I give 5 stars to, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, this is a masterpiece and this is the work of art and this is something that I'm never gonna forget. No, I think that, at least for me, a book when it is given 5 stars, it means that it's a good book and you enjoyed reading it and you were connected to at least one of the characters, all of the characters. So I give it 5 stars, even though there are a lot of things that that I wish would have been different. This book is far from perfect, but it was his first novel and he is so young. And just the fact that he's an actor and he has written this book at the age that he has, like, to me it is proof that we can expect a lot of great things from Chris Colfer. And I hope that he continues to write because I enjoyed this book very much. But like I was saying, because I went out of topic there. Something that I did not like about this book is that I felt that the world that the story took place, it was such a cute world. I loved it. I fell in love with the world. The little bit that I could read about it, I knew that world was just, it was cool. And if this book ever does come out in film, I'm going to really, 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 really like watching it, like really watching it, because it seems really good. But I guess that since it was his first book, and also because he wanted to include so many things in such a few amount of pages, in doing so, he was not able to describe the world with as much detail as I would have liked him to. Like, the characters, like the twins, like, they would go from one kingdom to the next kingdom trying to find their way home, and just when you were falling in love, or just when I was falling in love with one of the places that they were in, they would just go to another place, and I was like, well, I want to read more about that world because I liked it, but no, it was just one place to the next place to the next place. Another thing that I did not like about this book was that I thought that all of the characters were described in a very superficial way. The only character that I think was written in a way that you could feel empathy with and created a connection with were the twins, the witch, and Goldilocks. Then all the other characters, I think that they were very. It was just like, it was very superficial. Cinderella was just pretty little Cinderella with the glass slippers, and you know. So I thought that he should have. I hope that if this is a series and he does write a second installment to this, I hope that the book is a little bit longer so that we are able to get to know the world and get to know the characters on a more personal level. That is the only thing. As for what the target audience is, Chris Colfer says that this book it's basically a book that is meant for children to read. Well, I do not think so. I think actually that this book is more for young adults. I would not recommend this book to children. I'm not saying that this book is in any way sexual or it's pornographic or it's not like has sex written all over it. And I'm not going to. It's going to be hard for me to explain to you what I'm saying unless you read it. You have to read it because I do recommend it. It's a very good book. You have to read it for you to know exactly what part without me giving it away. And there is a part, so you have to pay attention to when someone in this book is like dreaming about a person that she's in love with. It's a female character. She's dreaming about a male character that she's in love with, and during this dream, she starts like talking in her sleep. And there are moments when she starts like talking about, oh, what big arms you have and this and that. That's not in any way sexual, but I just think that it's not something that is usually. We are in the 21st century, so maybe it's a taboo that I have, and it's not really that much of a big deal. But I don't think that for a children's novel that should have been necessary to write that. I think that Chris Colfer should have just been a little bit more specific. If he wanted to target it as a children's novel, he should have left those parts out. And I'm not saying that he should have not included love in the story, because children love to read about love as well, and they should read about love as well, because love is like the most important thing in life. So but not the sexual insinuations. That was unnecessary. So if he wanted it to be for a children's novel, he should take that into account for next time, and not like write about like the sexual, But if he wanted it to be for young adults, or people our age or more, or teenagers, then it was a good idea. I liked it. I really, really liked the book. Another thing that I really, 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 really enjoyed about this book was the illustrations on it. The book is so cute. I think it's so adorable. I love it. I know it's silly, but I love it when books are this size, like this. I love it because you can just hold it in your hand, and as you're reading it, it's just so comfortable to read. Like you could just hold it like with one hand, and I love books that you can just read like that. You look so nice when you're reading it like that. I loved it. I love the illustrations on it. I think so much thought went into choosing what was going to be on the cover, and usually I don't like books that have so many things on it, but with this story it works very well. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love the text the font that he used was very, very pretty. I love the illustrations. I loved it. I love this book. I really, 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 I think this book's so cute. I really liked this that he has right here. He chose a map. This is like a map, and he didn't include the map in like, I don't know how you call it, but those maps that usually the maps that they include in books are kind of like the ones that are in the Lord of the Rings or in the Game of Thrones, that they have like the like a map that looks like a real map. This map is a map that looks kind of like a cartoon, and I think it was very pretty, and it matches. For me, when I was reading the book, I would leave the map. I would leave the map open, and I would like as I was reading and the twins were going into each kingdom, I would just like open the map and kind of like imagine them. Well, they're here, so they must be next to this one. It was a good idea. I think it was very cute. I loved it, and he also he also included before each chapter he would put an illustration of what the chapter was going to be about. And the first chapter, as you can see here, is the evil witch. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil it. And I probably spoiled it enough already. But I would recommend this book. Do I think this book is a masterpiece and it's the best thing that has ever happened in my life? No. Do I think it is very, very good? Yes. Am I saying it because he is a person that I really, really like? No. It's good. You should get it. I really, really liked it. And I hope that you like it too.